Happy Sunday, everybody. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook welcoming you into the press box here at Blair Field for the Beach Ball pregame show. The final game against the Oakland Ballers, the reigning 2025 Pioneer League champions, who last night tied up the series on a knockout round. Surprise, surprise, another one. It's now 3 straight here, and they've taken 2 of those 3. As a matter of fact, last night was the 4th home loss of the second half. It's the 3rd in which the Oakland Ballers have taken a game here at Blair Field. It really seemed like the Coast were one-sided here at Blair Field, having that home field advantage, but now Oakland starting to get a little bit of an advantage of their own. Low-scoring games, 18 runs across these first 18 innings, a 0-run differential. What's happening right now?
Well, what's happening is that Oakland pitchers are accustomed to throwing in a small ballpark. That's why they have surrendered the highest number of home runs in the Pioneer League at 174. The next highest team is down at 147. So it's not even close. Raimondi Park, 312 down the left field line, 321 to right. It is a tiny ballpark. Now they're pitching in a field that has a little bit of give. So the Oakland pitching staff is getting very well accustomed to giving up home runs, and now they're serving up the same pitches and dealing with the newfound confidence because those balls aren't leaving the yard. And Joey, I wanted to bring this up because last night I said this in the exact same way, but I feel like deja vu is the theme of this series. Stop me if you've heard this before. Long Beach and Oakland play a game where one team is up by 3 runs entering the 9th inning, and the other team mounts a 2-out rally to tie the game and to put the go-ahead runner in scoring position but not bring him home, going to the knockout round where the team that mounts the miraculous comeback then fails to hit a home run.
And it was Cuba Bess in both of those knockout rounds, adding on to the deja vu. Ren Abe Arias did a phenomenal job getting through 8 2/3 of an inning. Almost got himself the complete game, but then he got into a little trouble. Loaded up the bases. Spence Kaufman drove in the winning run. He didn't have to take the bat off of his shoulders at all. 4-pitch walk, but that was by Julio Rosario, who came in with the save opportunity. Things were getting tense. The game was tied. Cuba Bess was the final batsman in regulation, and then in the knockout round, got 5 outs before he could send one over the fence to tie up the series. And this is game 30 of the second half. 18 games after this until we get you ready for playoff baseball. Looking at the trends of the second half, right now, Long Beach is 19-10. That was their 10th loss. It took Long Beach 41 games to get to their 10th loss in the first half. At this point in the first half, they were 24-6. So the start of the second half has not been as great as the first half. They're starting to humanize themselves a little bit, but the one stat I found that was quite interesting is that in the first half, Long Beach's batting average was .315. We are, to this point, 29 games in. It's the exact same batting average. So again, Jesse, my question to you, what's going wrong?
Well, what's going wrong is that the bats have stayed the same, but the pitching staff is getting a little bit tired. It's still the best pitching staff in the league. It was just named the best in all of independent minor league baseball by Corner Stripe with what was yesterday a .496 earned run average for the starting rotation. That's only been bumped up by 2 points now. But it's that the bullpen is starting to get figured out. And also the same relievers are being trusted more frequently, which means that they're pitching well, but other teams are also getting more looks at them. Zach Volker is Exhibit A. He's been fantastic this year. No one can take away the fact that he's mounted 16 saves this season, but when you get late in games, batters who were facing a myriad of different starters across the week have that one person that they can look at and go, yeah, I remember him going out night after night after night. And so they find their ways, they have their scouting reports, and they study them more closely.
And I think Steven Ordorica is another pitcher that you can throw into that mix, leading the team in appearances out of the pen. Known as a little bit of a firefighter, he comes into these bad situations, tries to pull Long Beach out of it in those late innings and, trying to keep the momentum up.
So something funny that happened yesterday, I walked by the home dugout where Robert Pitts is cutting players' hair, and he's cutting Steven Ordorica's hair. And trust me, we'll have a lot of fun dealing with the shears this coming week. But Pitts is cutting Steven Ordorica's hair, and what do you do when you're sitting in the chair at the barber shop? You talk. So I walk by, and Ordorica just starts talking to me. after he and Pitts were having a good conversation. And he starts talking about the Frontier League. He goes, yeah, nobody out there was willing to take a chance on me because they saw the velocity and none of them paid any attention to the delivery. And that's something that he thinks thrives in the Pioneer League, is that there are great coaches who want to develop players and want to work with guys who have those interesting different deliveries or different means of getting the ball over the plate. And they want to work on that because they know that no matter how often you use a guy, it's never going to look normal to the batter.
And you mentioned velocity. That's what's so great about indie ball. You don't have to have an 100-mile-per-hour fastball to succeed at the indie ball level. And not only that, to get your way into affiliate ball. We've seen a couple of examples in our professional career. And as a matter of fact, the projected starter for Oakland this afternoon, Reed Butts, his fastball only tops out around 87, 88 miles per hour. It's that movement that you get to develop in this league. Jerome Williams has really worked well with the breaking ball. That was working well for yesterday's starter. But today, it's a tie game, rubber match, and I think this pitching staff needs to stay hungry. The batters need to stay hungry. Brett Wozniak, the projected starter for Long Beach, back in a starting role. We'll tell you more about that on the other side of this. But speaking of being hungry, we were hungry before first pitch yesterday, and we decided to try some more food for you right here at Blair Field. So check that out right here. Hey, guys, it's us here just before Saturday night's game. I know we're kind of talking to you from the past. We've done one of these food reviews before, but we figured we have a big menu thanks to Trademark Brewing, so a couple of more things to try. What do you have, Jesse?
I have the 9th inning smash burger, and Joey, those Grand Slam nachos look pretty freaking good as well.
I'm telling you right now, look at these. It's got pulled pork, I think.
Yeah.
It's got some pickled jalapenos, some tomatoes, sour cream, nacho cheese, also some fries, too. I think that's what
I made
it
a combo.
All right. Well, let's dig in because we have just a couple minutes until first pitch.
You don't need to tell me twice. Oh, my goodness. This looks fantastic.
We are starved. This is going to be the fuel for what we hope is a win tonight, but if you're watching this from wherever you're watching this, you'll know the result. So let me take a bite of this. Okay. That's kind of like brighter than I thought it was going to be. I know it's kind of a weird way to describe that, but the pork is not like heavy like a barbecue pork, but more like a mojo pork, if you know what that is. Kind of like a citrusy zing to it. Nacho cheese works really well. I've had the nacho cheese with the pretzels, by the way, also a fantastic item here at Blair Field. You got your mouth full, Jesse, but once you swallow, I want to hear what your thoughts are on that burger.
Well, there's spinach in place of regular lettuce, and that is a nice touch because it doesn't feel like you're trying to pull the burger apart. It just goes the way that you would naturally expect it to. Very well cooked. It's medium on the burger. It's fantastic. The cheese is American cheese, so it melts just enough to taste good, but it's also not sticking to the burger too much. And I think that's a potato bread bun. It's great. Also got some arugula in there with some pickles, which add a nice crisp contrast for it. And I tried those fries. Whoo, those are fantastic.
Waffle fries. And I think what you're referring to there is a spring mix, which, like you said, I think really adds, with the arugula, it gives a little bit of a peppery bite to balance the richness of the burger. And it's not a very rich burger. It's something that you can eat and still get through 9 innings. That's why they call it the 9th inning smash. Maybe that's not why they call it. That's why I call it the 9th inning smash.
It's a happy coincidence.
Yes.
And, you don't need to be Tevye feeling like a rich man because this is rich enough in itself. It's so good.
Well, let's give it a rating before we send it to the next segment. For these nachos, they're some of the best ballpark nachos I've had, and I say that honestly and truthfully because it's not very heavy. I'm going to give this 9.7 out of 10. 10 out of 10 on the burger.
10 out of 10. It's fantastic.
And the fries, fantastic
11
as
out
well.
of 10.
11 out of 10. That's what we're calling it. Get to Blair Field. Get yourself munching. We're going to get on the broadcast here in just a second, and we'll see you on the other side of this break. Boy, was that food delicious and just what we needed to get through that broadcast. And it was kind of a long one. These past two games have not been the longest necessarily, but they've definitely felt long in those low-scoring affairs. People left on base. Right now, 17 left on base in the first 2 games for the Long Beach Coast. But now we get to talk about Brett Wozniak, who you've seen out of the pen this past homestand, and now he's going to get his first start since June 19th. That was the second homestand of this inaugural season. Now we're in the second to last homestand where he's taken a good 53 days on the IL to get his body right. He was having some trouble with his shoulder, and now he feels like he's ready to get back into that starting role.
Absolutely. He had those 2 relief appearances, but what was remarkable was how he started the season. The team 6-0 when Wozniak is on the mound to open up a game. And, I had to clean up my face after the food there with the napkin here, but nobody's been able to eat well against Brett Wozniak this season. 2.21 ERA as a starter. Best on the team even with his most 2 recent relief appearances, all the way up at 288. So he really is such a welcome sight back to the mound for Long Beach this season, because those 53 days without him on the bump, the team won a lot of games, but it wasn't easy.
And for Wozniak, I think it's going to be most important for the offense to provide consistent run support. That's what happened on night 1. Emilio Corona got things started right away with a 3-run blast to left field. They added on to that lead. They held that lead through the rest of the game. Typically, when this team trails first, they're under 500. They have a 14-15 record when they trail first. Such a drastic difference. They're over 40 wins when they score first. And for Wozniak, he's going to hope to do his role. What does this lineup need to do to help him out today?
Well, Joey, I'll answer that question with another question. What have we been talking about this entire month of August?
Run support in the first 3 innings.
Bingo. Long Beach averaging 1.3 runs per game within the first third of the ball game. Before the end of July, that was all the way up at 3.3. That's 2 fewer runs per game supporting this staff in the opening innings, and it hurts. It hurts a lot. They've only added on a run in 5 of the first 13 games in August. There were only 5 games in all of July where this team did not score in the first 3 innings across 27 contests.
And today is going to be Reed Butts, again, the projected starter. His 3rd time on the mound, so maybe these batters who have seen Reed Butts know what to expect. He's a veteran lefty for Oakland, and now he's going to try and clean things out for Oakland. We will see Oakland one more time at Raimondi Park. We haven't been to Raimondi Park really since June. It's just been all here in Long Beach. But to topple what has become a new rivalry, I'd say, is really important in this final game. And for that, I think the players need to be well fed. We just mentioned that. But they also need to be well hydrated with the electrolytes running through their body. And we have a great guy who keeps these players hydrated with Gatorade. Steve Tubner, one of the athletic trainers, I got to work with him and make some of that famous Gatorade of his. And he got to tell us a bit more about the science behind it. It's fascinating. Just take a look.
I'm here with Steve Tubner, the athletic trainer, one of the 2 athletic trainers for the Long Beach Coast, and we're going to teach you how to make some Gatorade.
A lot of times I like to mix it, different flavors, kind of give it a different color, different texture.
So you said texture. Tell me about that, because usually when people talk about Gatorade, you don't think texture, you just think taste.
When we exercise, our taste buds change. That's why sometimes when you take the bottles to a game, whatever, and you drink it, it just tastes super, super strong. But with the powder, it's a little bit different. We can gauge it to what the athletes like or what tastes best. I would prefer to use a hot water to the powder, kind of like making Jell-O. That brings out the flavors a little bit more, allows the powder to dissolve better in the water versus cold water. We got Glacier Freeze today.
Classic Glacier Freeze.
Stir it up. Yeah, so I'll just fill it up. If I add all the water and fruit, then that means my hand's going to be inside, and we don't want to do that.
Well, that adds a little bit of extra flavor, don't you think?
Yeah, but the health department would probably think differently on that. Now I feel that there's no powder on the bottom, so now it's just either ice or water until we're done.
Now it's time to taste the fruits of Steve's labor. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is perfectly sweet. It's not clumping up in here.
If it is a little too thick or a little too strong for some guys, they can always dilute it a little bit with normal water.
They can do their own science project.
Yeah, they can do their own little science experiment.
All right. Well, thanks you.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Steve.
No problem.
Oakland, on the other hand, wearing its road gray pants underneath its moss green jerseys. Wozniak kicks up high. Fastball for a strike, low and away, but immediately challenged by Leahy. Oakland has run out of challenges before the ninth inning in both of the last two games. And that is successful for Leahy. The ABS TrackMan Strike Zone Challenge, as read to you by public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez. Confirms, overturns it. 1-1. Leahy swings and rips it foul to the right side. 1-2 count. And more about those Oakland jerseys. It's the gold script ballers in block letters across the chest, gold block letters ballers across the chest with a white outline. Same format for the numbers on the back, underneath a white arced ballers on top. They're wearing their all green hats with the Gothic bees on the front. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Leahy sent chasing down by his shoelaces. Wozniak unties him for his first strikeout of the ballgame. His first start in almost 2 months. Here's Jake Allgaier digging in on the right side. Allgaier, a .331 hitter for Oakland. 0 for 5 on Friday. Allgaier 1 for 5 yesterday. The next pitch, the first one to him on Sunday, misses high and outside. 1-0 count after the changeup. Misses. Wozniak, glove in front of his eyes, face shadowed by his hat. 1-0, same spot, this time on the heater. 2-0 count here. Wozniak's ERA, the best among active pitchers with at least 5 starts. 2-0 pitch, ripped out towards short, fielded on a hop by Spence Kaufman, turns on to first, Anthony Mata. His throw to first gets by Cuba Bess over to the wall. So that error brings Allgaier aboard with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. No score. And I guess after that, why don't we check around the field, Joey, to make sure we have all our odds and ends in the right spots.
Well, it's a different look for the outfield today. Not a traditional one. Emilia Corona is the only everyday outfielder who's still in center field. Jacob Jablonski in left. Robert Pitts getting the start. Eddie Pelk is on the bench today.
Jeter Ibarra at the plate on the left side. Wozniak kicks up high. Fastball misses inside and low. And around the infield, Benjamin Rosengard at third base. Anthony Mata, the shortstop. Spence Kaufman back at second base. Cuba Bess at first. 1-0 by the ankles. It's a 2-0 count. Johnny Pappas, the catcher, for Brett Wozniak. The starter in the home opener for Long Beach, all the way back on June 2nd. Wozniak whips home, lunged out to first. Bess blocks it, but it skips very far away. Mata barehands it, throws to first. Bess steps on the bag too late. And Ibarra is aboard. Bess had the ball before Ibarra made his way to first, but his foot was off the bag. And I believe they're ruling that an error because Bess could have had him out had he remained on the bag. Back-to-back infield errors have runners on first and second for the Ballers in the top of the first inning with 2 away and no score. Well, here's Brendan O'Sullivan, the .307 hitter. He's got a chance to make Long Beach pay. Lefty deals to righty. Hader misses high and away at 87. 1-0 count. Wozniak, low leg kick. Swinging a fly ball left field. Jacob Jablonski moving back. Hand up, he makes the catch. Oakland threatens, but due to Long Beach's own faults, 2 errors make no difference. We move on to the bottom of the first inning, tied up at 0-0 on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Blue skies, 80 degrees, and a light breeze blowing out to left field. All features that take us into the bottom of the first inning with the Coast heading to the plate, tied up at 0-0, and Robert Pitts leading off for the first time this year. The right-handed hitter out of UC Riverside, bending in against the lefty Reed Butts in his third start against Long Beach. Lefty versus righty. Out of the stretch, Pitts squares to bunt but pulls back. That fastball missing low and inside for a 1-0 count. Robert Pitts playing for Long Beach. Not the first time that people here have seen him play. 1-0. He swings and laces it out to right field, but right at Noah Blythe, who makes the catch. And as we were saying, Charlie Gonzalez, today's public address announcer, used to call his games for the Ventura County Buccaneers in the Sunset League. And of course, he played under now manager Troy Percival in college. But Pitts goes up swinging. That's now the first out of the home half. Base is empty for Spence Kaufman here. 5 games as a member of the Coast, 5 games with a hit. He squares to bunt. First pitch lands for a strike as Kaufman pulls back. 0-1 count. Kaufman with Long Beach so far, a 400 hitter. 0-1. He cuts and misses high and away. Kaufman traded from the Red Pocket Mobiles back on Monday. But a 13.50 ERA on the season for Oakland. Third year as a member of the Ballers. His 0-2. Inside and low. 1-2 count. Against Long Beach, he's been much better with an ERA of 4.82. Made his season debut back on July 16th against the Coast. Next pitch bounces. 2-2 count. And despite the rough numbers as a whole, he began his season struggling. 4 runs over 3 innings, pulled early in that start on the 16th. 2-2 pitch. Kaufman swings and pastes it to the backstop. That July 16th game ended up being the clincher in a sweep for Long Beach over Oakland. The third of 7 straight losses to open up the second half for the Ballers, who just snapped a 5-game losing streak last night. 2-2 again. Kaufman swings, grounds it over to the third base side. Allgaier on the run, throws to first. In time, correction, Brendan O'Sullivan throwing on the run, cuts him down. 2 up, 2 down for Long Beach to bring up Emilio Corona. He's been good in the first few innings this series. Corona, although yesterday he struck out, on Friday he rocked a 112-mile-per-hour 3-run homer to left. Out of the stretch. That misses up high. 1-0 count for Corona. He taps in with a .364 batting average, leading the team in hits with 107. Next pitch, he swings, and there's 108 down into the right center field gap. Fielded on a hop by Isai Santos, and Emilio Corona has the first hit of the ball game for either side. A 108-mile-per-hour crack.
And Emilio Corona does what he does well, get on base, but also pulling that back foot back so that he can get the right measurement of the barrel to the ball to send it into that gap. You know when he's on the bases, he's going to move.
Well, there he is on first base. Cuba Bess at the dish, 2 out. Bottom of the first, no score. Butts deals his first lefty of the ball game, and he misses up high. 1-0 count. Very right-hander heavy lineup for Long Beach. The only lefties, Bess and Benjamin Rosengard, who's currently due up third. Low leg kick, swinging a foul punch to the backstop. Looks like that may have hit home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte. But he shakes it off. Got him on the chest protector. 1-1 count for Bess after that foul ball. 22 home runs, leads the Coast. Next pitch, he swings and misses over the slider. It's a 1-2 count for Bess, who complements those 22 long balls with a .332 batting average. His 97 RBIs also lead the roster. Bess stands at 5th in the Pioneer League in that category. And despite leading the league in homers, Jeter Ibarra is actually behind Bess. The top 4 players, all four of them are from the Mountain Division. Runner moves, pitch swung on and fouled back. Corona, who leads Long Beach with 38 stolen bases, has to trot on back to first. Jeter Ibarra, who's tied for Oakland's franchise record in home runs at 31 with Christian Almanza of last season. Nowhere to be found with only 88 RBIs. Next pitch, Bess swings and tears it deep to center field, but it hangs up for Santos. A hard drive, but not enough under it. Long Beach scratches across the first hit of the game, but we leave. Still tied up at 0-0. Moving on to the top of the second. We'll get the Cook Quiz when we return on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Top of the second inning on the way. No score as the Long Beach Coast head back out to the field. The Oakland Ballers at the plate. To my right, Joey Miller on Jesse Cook. Brett Wozniak on the mound. His first start in almost 2 months. Dealing to Connor Smith, the right-handed catcher for Oakland. Out of the windup. First pitch misses high and outside. 1-0 count. Smith, a .253 hitter. The starting catcher in every game this weekend for Oakland. 1-0. Smith swings and taps it foul to the left side. Connor Smith won the game for Oakland last night. Both contests in this weekend series have been decided in the knockout round. In the Pioneer League, extra innings are not a thing during the regular season. It's a post-game home run derby. 1-1. Smith swings, taps it up the middle. Second baseman Spence Kaufman fields at the ankles, sidearms to first in time. One away to start off the top of the second inning, tied up at zeros between Long Beach and Oakland. I guess we'd better get to the Cook Quiz. We're wondering which pitcher born in a state without an MLB team recorded the highest number of strikeouts across his big league career. Here's TJ Rogers batting on the right side. If you want to play, comment on our YouTube stream or reach out on X. Lefty pitches to righty and misses up high and away. You can do that by tagging at Long Beach Coast or at Jesse Cook TV. 1-0. Wozniak, glove at his eyes. Drops it to his belt. Flicks to the plate. Misses low and inside. Long Beach and Oakland seem incapable of avoiding the knockout round this season, Joey. It's happened 4 times, and also in each of their last 3 meetings.
And perhaps that's just what happens when you have those late rallies.
2-0, misses high and away, 3-0 count.
Because yesterday, it really looked like Oakland was going to take that one in the ninth with Ren Abe Arias seemingly not willing to give up that lead, a 4-1 lead heading into the ninth.
3-0 hits for a strike, low and away, 3-1 count. It also happens when you have teams that are similar in a bunch of respects. While the pitching heavily favors Long Beach, the bats are similar spots in the league. 3-1, cut on and fouled off to the right side. Long Beach 8th in batting average, Oakland 9th. Long Beach 8th in runs scored, Oakland 9th. Long Beach 9th in hits, Oakland 8th. It just keeps going on and on like that. RBIs, Long Beach 8th, Oakland 9th. Full count here from the windup. And that misses inside for Wozniak's first walk. 1 on, 1 away, tied up at 0-0 in the top of the second inning. Here's Ethan Crawford. Yesterday, 0 for 2. He reached as a hit batsman. Crawford batting on the right side. Wozniak deals. Fastball, rather breaking ball for a strike, low and away. That pitch has been challenged by Crawford. And Oakland, a team that has burned through both of its challenges before the ninth inning in each of the last two games, is out one now, as public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez confirms the strike call. And home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte is talking with the Oakland dugout, now with manager Aaron Miles, who's coming down to talk to him. And I'm not sure what this is about. The crew chief, Neil Turner, is making his way over now. He's walking from first. And are the Ballers saying that Crawford didn't actually challenge?
I think that he went to his helmet to tap the top of his head, but then he mistakenly said, no, never mind. They went with the challenge anyway, and I think that's what they're trying to argue.
Which is really difficult because players by instinct touch their helmet, and looking at the Long Beach dugout, they don't look happy. So I don't think Oakland's actually losing this challenge.
No challenge, says Arturo Belmonte.
Well, the Ballers are evidently well within control of both their challenges. We have not seen that happen yet this season, but we've seen a lot of instances where we've been confused where a player touches his helmet, just adjusting it after a pitch. So there it is. 0-1, misses outside on the curve. 1-1 count. And remember in the Field of Dreams game earlier this week, Luis Arias for the Phillies tried to challenge, but that is the one game now in Major League Baseball where you don't do that. 1-1, outside and high at 84 miles per hour, 2-1 count. So there is a healthy amount of confusion around the challenges in this, the third week of August. 2-1, cut on down the first base side and foul.
This is a league also where they tested the challenge, the automated balls and strikes challenges. It was debuted in this league in 2024, around the same time that MLB was starting to play with it in spring training. Now it's ingrained in Major League Baseball. That's what MLB partner leagues are for, to test things out.
Throw over to first, and standing back in is Rogers. Two and two. Wozniak sets, turns home, swung on, sent right back up the middle at second, diving past it, Kaufman. That's into center field. Men on first and second for the Ballers with their first hit of the game. 1 out in the top of the second inning, 0-0. Here comes Isai Santos to bat on the left side. We're still playing the Cook quiz. We'll get the answer in the bottom half of this inning, and we're wondering which player born in a state without an MLB team recorded the highest number of strikeouts. We, of course, asked that because the Field of Dreams game was played earlier this week on Thursday out in Iowa, a state without a Major League Baseball team. That's been the theme this weekend. Lefty to lefty. Slider in there for a strike. 0-1 count. We asked who had the highest number of home runs from a state without a big league team on Friday. The answer was Hank Aaron. Yesterday it was the highest number of saves, and it was Craig Kimbrell. Next pitch off the belt, 1-1 count. So a couple of Braves legends from Alabama on both days. Now, our director of game presentation here in the broadcast booth, Marty Messer, is a huge Braves fan, but that is not why I came up with those questions. Santos fouls off the next pitch, 1-2 count. And I can give you a hint right now. This person, the answer today, either did or did not play for the Braves. It's not a very helpful hint.
No, not at all.
There is an MLB team in the place where this person played the majority of his career. 1-2. Misses downstairs, but of course this person was born in a state without a big league roster. And if it helps even more, I don't think it ever has had one. Two and two. Swung on and driven foul, right side.
I think what's been so tough about these Cook quizzes this week is because even baseball fans maybe don't think immediately about where these players were born. Sure, they know the minor league systems that they might have grown up in, maybe their college, but not a lot about their hometown.
Not quite. 2-2, driven off his front foot. Santos hobbling after taking the foul ball. It hit the leg with his shin guard, but I'm not sure it got his shin guard. He's walking himself off.
Because you mentioned a couple from Alabama yesterday. Perhaps you could be following that trend. But geographically, do you have any hints for us?
I mean, the hint is that they were born in a state without an MLB team, but
there are a lot of those, though.
Yes, there are.
So like Midwest or?
I think I'll save that hint.
Okay.
2-2 again. Santos swings, powers it deep to right field. Pitch in pursuit towards the warning track. He's got room. He makes the catch. Hurls it back to the infield, tagging for third. Rogers, and he gets in without a problem. Men on the corners with two away for Oakland on a hard hit ball. 98 miles per hour off the bat from Santos. Here comes the top of the order for Oakland and Noah Blythe. He grounded out to third to start this ball game on the first pitch he saw, and the score is still exactly what it was then, 0-0. Oakland, however, threatening. Lefty pitching to a righty. Wozniak, glove at the belt. Whips. Fouled off to the right side. I will tell you that this person is a Hall of Famer. Probably didn't need that hint to know it. But yesterday the answer was still active, and it will probably end up being a Hall of Famer, but that will tell you that this person is no longer active. Oh, 1. Driven high and deep center field. Oh, that's a burner. Emilio Corona moving back towards the wall, and he stops dead in his tracks. That ball's gone. Noah Blythe, 3-run homer, and the Ballers have struck first on back-to-back days, leading 3-0. .109 miles per hour off the bat. 12th home run for Blythe.
That was such a pretty swing, too. He stayed balanced in the box. A perfect textbook turn of the hips. And a great barrel there. Can't do much about that.
Lefty pitching to a righty, and Nick Leahy. He swings and dribbles it foul. Left side, 0-1 count. I will tell you that of the top 10 players in this list, they're from 9 different states. 0-1 misses up high. 1-1 count, which I find interesting enough on its own that there's a talent pool like that all over the place. 1-1, swung on and torn up the middle. Oakland continuing its 2-out rally antics from yesterday that at one point handed them 3 runs on 4 hits, all with 2 away. Back-to-back 2-out knocks, one of them a homer, this one a single. Jake Allgaier reached on an error in his first time up last inning. Here he comes. And well, I don't think I have the leader in every state in this on my list here. I'll tell you a bunch of the players represented, or the states represented, as Allgaier swings and misses on 1 count. In the top 20, we've got players from Virginia, Montana, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Mississippi, Nevada, New Jersey, Nebraska, Indiana, Alabama, Hawaii, Arkansas, Iowa, Kentucky, Alaska, and did I already say Kansas? Kansas. Swing and a miss there from Allgaier. It's an 0-2 count, and Wozniak is potentially 1 pitch away from ending this inning. And the best part about this list, too, is that these players span every decade of baseball. 0-2. This is high and outside. 1-2 count. These individuals, a lot of them from the earlier years, are Northeasterners, but as baseball moved west, so did the talent pool. 1-2 in the dirt. 3-0 Oakland. Top of the second, 2 away, runner on first. Two and two. Just misses high and away. Full count. Another hint I will give you is that the top 3 players all have more than 3,500 strikeouts. So we're talking about someone who's high up in that upper echelon of baseball royalty. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the mitt of Johnny Pappas. Wozniak has his second strikeout, but it comes after a big drive from Noah Blythe. We move on to the bottom of the second inning. Long Beach trying to climb out of a 3-0 hole. We'll get the answer to the Cook Quiz with Matthew Bardowell, Benjamin Rosengard, and Jacob Jablonski due up on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Down in a 3-0 hole, the Long Beach Bats head up to the plate for the bottom of the second inning after Noah Blythe elevates Oakland to the lead on that 3-run homer. Here's Matthew Bardowell, followed by Benjamin Rosengard and Jacob Jablonski. 5, 6, and 7 in the Long Beach order in the bottom of the second inning against the left-hander Reed Butts. Jesse Cook with you on the mic. Joey Miller to my right. Bardowell swinging a bright red bat out of the stretch. He watches a fastball miss low and away for a 1-0 count. Bardowell walking into this game with a .362 batting average. Butts kicks up high. Bardowell stares at the curveball that lands for a strike high and away. 1-1 count. We're still playing the Cook Quiz, and we're wondering which pitcher born in a state without an MLB team recorded the highest number of strikeouts. 1-1. He cuts and fouls it off to the right side. We're going to get the answer in this frame, and what we've already established is that this Hall of Famer recorded at least 3,500 strikeouts, and the talent pool is varied across 9 different states for the top 10 in this stretch as well. 1-2. Swing and a looping fly ball to left field, moving back just a little bit. Jake Allgaier, he's underneath to make the catch. Long Beach has 1 hit in its first 5 batters. Here comes Benjamin Rosengard with the bases empty and 1 out in the bottom of the second inning, down 3-0. Rosengard, Long Beach's third baseman, taking in with a .361 average, this being his 20th game played in a Coast jersey, his 17th start. The former Washington Wild Thing. Lefty to lefty, pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Rosengard traded to Long Beach from the Wild Things earlier this season. Also played the last 2 years with the Idaho Falls Chuckers under manager Troy Percival, now his manager here. Next pitch, the 1-0 landing for a strike on the 87-mile-per-hour fastball. Now, region of the country, I'll tell you that this person was born east of the Mississippi. One and one. Misses downstairs, 2-1 count. And I will also tell you he was a National League arm. At the very least, that's how you know him. He did pitch in both leagues, but more famously in the National League. 3-1. After that pitch bounces. Rosengard trying to bunt, but pulled back. More than 3,500 strikeouts for this individual. 3-1. Fastball called a ball inside and low, so Rosengard jogs on to first, handing off his bat to the bat boy for today's game, who also stands by to collect his batting gloves. Here comes the switch hitter, Jacob Jablonski, digging in on the right side against the left-hander Butts. Jabs 0 for 6 this series. 2 for 12 on the week. First pitch to him, misses downstairs, 1-0 count. Despite the hitless stretch, he worked 5 walks during the 3 games against the Freebirds on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We talked with Anthony Mata yesterday. We'll drop the full interview next week about his relationship, having played with Jablonski. Runner moves for second. He swings, flies it shallow into right field. That's falling fast, and it lands for a hit. Rosengard hung up in front of second to watch where the ball would fall, so despite the hit and run, he remains where he is on second base. Long Beach with runners on first and second with 1 away in the bottom of the second inning. 3-0 Oakland. Johnny Pappas jogging up to the dish here. His last game was a good one, 2 for 3, playing a huge role in heading to the knockout round. A chant for Johnny here at Blair Field. He digs in on the right side, swaying an Auburn bat in front of his eyes. The first pitch, twitches his bat down, holds it in check, but the changeup lands for a strike anyhow. 0-1 count. Pappas batting .500 on the week. 2 RBIs. This Blair Field crowd getting loud for Pappas, or at least a couple fans down the first base side, but the Oakland infielders decide to meet for a moment. They break. 3-0 Oakland, bottom of the second inning. 1 out, runners on first and second. Botch staring in, glove at the belt, tilt his curly brown hair. Now he sets towards the plate and bounces it. 1-1 count for Pappas. So with our Cook quiz, we've established that this is a pitcher in the Hall of Fame, known for his work in the National League, born east of the Mississippi. one of 3 players born in a state without an MLB team with 3,500 strikeouts or more. Throw back to second. Jablonski dives back in safely. Rather, Rosengard dives back in safely.
Well, if you mentioned that he's mostly known for the NL team, I think that our good friend Gareth Kwok's answer is off the table. Curt Schilling.
Next pitch misses high and away. Throw back to first. Jablonski dives. Oh, he's safe. He swims back in under Ibarra's tag. And that is a rough call. Rosengard moves up to third in the fray. Jeter Ibarra has his hands out in disbelief. The ball beat Jablonski to first by a couple steps. Ibarra laid down his tag relatively late, but I think the coast may have caught a break there.
And Rosengard does not get a stolen base, I don't believe, because there was a double steal applied, and he could only throw towards one base.
I think he does still get. Well, we'll hash that out later. I'm not sure about that. 2-1 to Pappas. He swings and misses up high. 2-2 count. Well, Curt Schilling did win a World Series for the Arizona Diamondbacks and played a long time for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I think Schilling actually spent the majority of his career in the National League. Two and two. Pappas watches the curveball, tempting, misses up by the hands. 3-2 count. Schilling, of course, also won the World Series in 2004 and I think 2007 for the Boston Red Sox. So it could go either way on him. But I will tell you that guess would be incorrect. Sorry, Gareth. He's a great guy. 3-2. Pappas swings behind the 87-mile-per-hour fastball, and there are 2 outs now. In the bottom of the second, Long Beach trailing Oakland 3-0, the Ballers lead. Here comes Anthony Mata. And we started talking about his relationship, his friendship with Jacob Jablonski, because they played collegiate summer ball together and have been teammates in Idaho Falls before coming here, both SoCal natives. And Mata has told us a couple times this year that it's so important for him to share the middle infield with someone he knows well. First pitch to the righty that hits for a strike at the knees. Joey, do you have a guess?
Well, if I were to guess, I wouldn't know anything about where these pitchers were born, so it would be like throwing a dart at a map and trying to hit Argentina.
So
I have no idea.
The next pitch lands for a strike at the knees. Well, what if I told you this guy pitched in SoCal? About 30 minutes from here for the Dodgers.
Well, then I would say maybe Don Drysdale.
You're so close. Don Sutton. 3,574 strikeouts. Although Justin Verlander will probably catch him by the end of the season as he's 20 shy at 3,554. He's from Virginia. 0-2, Pappas Mata swings and sends it to center field, but moving back is Santos with plenty of time. He makes the catch. And just like the last 2 days, the answer is an Alabama native. Goes Sutton, Verlander, and then out of Kansas, Walter Johnson. Curt Schilling, 5th on the list. Just about 158 strikeouts shy of Sutton. We move on to the top of the 3rd inning. We'll have some friends from the aquarium on the broadcast with us. You don't want to miss it on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Welcome back to Blair Field. Top of the third inning on the way. The Long Beach Coast in the field with Gary Grosjean replacing Brent Wozniak after 2 innings of work and his first start back from injury. Jeter Ibarra at the plate against Grosjean, 3-0 ballers. We have a friend up here on the broadcast, Sam, from the Aquarium of the Pacific, the coolest aquarium in the country and the largest in Southern California. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good. Very happy to be here. Very happy to have you with us. And Sam, tell us a little bit about your path to the aquarium.
That's a great question. It's a little bit long-winded, is the truth. I actually started volunteering at the aquarium when I was in high school. I was part of our volunteer program back in 2014. Program is still going on today. I went off to school, got my degree in marine biology, came back, started volunteering again in our education department. Got paid in our education department for about 5 years after that, worked my way through a couple of different positions, and I am now actually fortunate enough to be a part of our volunteer services team that helps work with our volunteers. So it's been a very full circle journey for me, getting to work with the aquarium and getting to grow through that space. It was my home aquarium where I went on field trips when I was in elementary school, so it's been very fun to get to be a part of this team at the aquarium.
Yeah, how rewarding is that for you to have this place that's been like a second home to you offer you a spot where you can help other people develop?
It's been wonderful. I got to have coaching experiences when I was within the education team, now getting to work pretty exclusively with our high school volunteers, getting to see their passion, getting to help hone that, and getting to help provide them have a safe space to be able to explore that has been incredibly rewarding. We work with some really wonderful kids, so I'm very fortunate.
And what would you say is the best draw for the aquarium for someone who's never been and wants to go?
Okay, so I will go with my biases. I love our sharks and rays, and you do get to touch some of our sharks and rays while you're there. Our bamboo sharks, our epaulet sharks, our cow-nose rays, our blue spotted rays, some of our smaller species, but just getting to experience them, have that gentle two-finger touch, as we always say at the aquarium. They're just some very cool species. Love our larger ones as well, like our zebra sharks, our black tip reef sharks, so just some very cool species, though we do have our new Jelly Dreamscapes exhibit that opened up this past summer. Some very cool jelly species on display, so definitely recommend coming to see that too.
You know, rays are good for baseball players who want to get signed by a big league team. You know, they could end up being a Tampa Bay Ray at some point.
Very true.
So what, for people who don't know, does a shark feel like? I've actually petted a stingray, so I know it's kind of a little slimy and stuff like that. Is a shark pretty similar?
A little bit different. So sharks are going to feel a little, we always say kind of like sandpaper, just a little bit rough. They have what are called dermal denticles. So loosely translates to skin teeth. So the way that their scales are set up are teeny tiny little teeth. So when you feel against them, you do kind of feel that roughness. That does help them be more streamlined in the water, helps have a nice protective layer to their skin, while still being sleek enough to have that hydrodynamic aspect to it.
That's awesome, because I've always wanted to pet a shark, and so Jesse and I might need to get there on our off day at some point.
Please do. We'd love to have you.
I've always wanted a pet shark to begin with, not just pet the shark. I think one of those might be more achievable than the other.
Yeah, probably, but we can have you come over to the aquarium, get that feel first, and see where it goes from there.
And how important is it to have this partnership here with the Coast, where you can reach people who are sports fans who maybe would spend a day here more frequently than at the aquarium?
No, it's awesome to get to be here with the Coast. One of the things I love about the aquarium, in having been here for the last 6 years or so, is getting to see those Long Beach connections. And so getting to have these local spaces where you get really interconnected with different Long Beach teams, with different Long Beach organizations is really special. I love our Long Beach community, and so we're really excited to get to be out here today and to get to have this partnership.
And Sam, we appreciate you so much for coming on the broadcast with us. Make sure you take a trip out to the aquarium, meet people like Sam at the Aquarium of the Pacific, the best aquarium in the world and the biggest in Southern California. We'll be back for the bottom of the third. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bottom of the third inning on the way. The Long Beach Coast trailing the Oakland Ballers 3-0. Robert Pitts at the top of the order leading off. The lefty Reed Butts fires. The righty cuts and sends it out to short. Field out on a hop. T.J. Rogers tosses on to first for a very quick out number one. And that's been the story of this game so far for Long Beach, that these innings have been quick. They threatened in the second inning, working Benjamin Rosengard over to third base off of a back pick to first, while Rosengard snuck up from second. But other than that, the Coast bats have been muted so far. Oakland's 3 runs coming around on one very loud swing of the bat, a 3-run homer from Noah Bly. Spence Kaufman on the right side. First pitch, he squares the bunt but pulls back. The curveball drops for a strike anyway. Kaufman 0 for 1, grounding out to third his last time up. Butts kicks up high. Kaufman swings and foul, tips it back. 0-2 count. Kaufman, an experienced player in MLB minor league systems, having spent some time about an hour inland from here with the Lake Elsinore Storm, the Padres' single-A affiliate, released at the beginning of last season. Reed Butts, a Pioneer League lifer for the most part. The pitcher tilts his green hat down. The 0-2, Kaufman swings and fires that off the bat handle to the right side. Foul out of play there. Butts began the year in the American Association with the Sioux City Explorers, but after his time there wrapped up, he went back to the team that had hosted him the last 2 years, these Ballers. 0-2. Kaufman swings and gets just a piece of it, taping it to the backstop foul. 0-2 still. Spence Kaufman, 5 games before today as a member of the Coast, 5 contests in which he records a hit. Traded from the Mobiles on Monday. He settles in, battling in an 0-2 count. High leg kick. Kaufman cuts and misses. Reed Butts strikes out his second Coast batter. That brings up Emilio Corona. He recorded a hit last time up in a very similar scenario where the guys in front of him both go down. Base is empty, 2 away, bottom of the third, 3-0 Oakland. Lefty pitching to a righty here. Corona, in the first 3 innings this week, has piled on a 2-for-4 line. First pitch, a fastball that misses downstairs. Long Beach in danger of going back-to-back days without scoring in the first third of the ball game. We talked about it during our Beach Ball pregame report, which you can always catch 20 minutes before first pitch, but they've struggled in the early going. 1-0, he rips that one out to right field on the ground for a hit. Emilio Corona 2 for 2 in the ball game, both times striking through with 2 away.
And pretty much the exact same swing at the exact same pitch, a fastball in, where Emilio Corona somehow gets it the other way through that 4-3 gap on the right side. He's spotting the ball well today.
He's spotting the ball well this series. We mentioned his 112-mile-per-hour home run from Friday. A total missile to left field. That's the only time Long Beach has struck first in this series, though. There goes Corona for second. The pitch to Cuba Bass hits his helmet off his head. He takes a moment, bending down, resetting after taking one off the noggin. He reverts to his catcher's crouch and readjusts his belt, grabs his helmet off the ground, shares a couple of words with athletic trainer Corinne Halley while sauntering off to first. Bass, the first baseman today, a catcher by trade. No stranger to taking the baseball off his body. That ball, a slow pitch, 79 miles per hour on the curve, but still, I don't think anyone's volunteering to take 79 miles per hour off the dome. And he jogs on to first base. Corona on second. Best, the team leader in homers with 22 on first. Here comes Matthew Bardowell. But like we were talking about, before the end of July, Long Beach averaged 3.3 runs per game in the first 3 innings. Since that point, just 1.3. Lefty pitching to a righty, 2 away. Double steal, swing and a miss, throw to second. Best slides in feet first. Oh, he's safe by a mile. Emilio Corona moves up to third with his league-leading 39th swiped bag. Long Beach, with 2 away, has 2 men in scoring position. Yesterday, 3 times in the first 4 innings, the Coast moved a man into scoring position and left him there. Down 3-0 here on Sunday, bottom of the third. 2 away for Bardowell. 0-1. He cuts at 1 in the dirt. 0-2 count. Bardowell with runners in scoring position, batting .359. But the high leg kick. Bardowell swings, drags it to third on the ground. O'Sullivan has it. Crow hops to first. Ibarra lunges and catches him in time. Long Beach again strands at least one runner in scoring position, and back-to-back frames now stranding 2 men on base. And it's still 3-0 Ballers as we move on to the top of the fourth. 7-8-9 due up in Rogers, Crawford, and Santos with Joey Miller on the mic for the next 3 frames on the Long Beach Baseball Network.
Welcome back to Blair Field in the series matinee finale. Long Beach Coast trail the Oakland Ballers 3-0. TJ Rogers takes the first pitch outside by Gary Grosjean, who worked through a clean frame in the top of the third. And now he's going to try and hold the line for his offense, who has yet to provide any run support. For now, the initial 2 pitchers, there's a called strike for a 1-1 count. Brett Wozniak out of the game after 2 innings of work. He gave up 3 hits, and one of those hits was sent over the left field wall that cashed in those 3 runs. A home run by Noah Blythe. Next pitch misses low for ball 2. Couple of strikeouts for Wozniak, but he was on a pitching restriction, from what we're told. Trying to ease his way into that starting role that he started the season off with. 1 hop to Spence Kaufman at second is there for out number 1. 4 straight retired for Gary Grosjean. And it brings up Ethan Crawford, who started off his tenure with Oakland as a bullpen catcher. They grabbed him from the Boise Hawks to fill that role, and then he made his Ballers debut just yesterday, just last night, where he went 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. So far today, he's 1 for 1, a single that came around to score on that home run. Gets a called strike here. So in the hit column in Ballers green, at moss green, on the jerseys they've been wearing all series long. Breaking ball by Gary Grosjean misses low. Another 1-1 count. All half innings have been scoreless except for the top of the second. 1-1, blows a changeup by him. Grosjean gets ahead of the count. Crawford calls for time. Crawford took a hit by pitch last night, and we just saw a momentarily scary hit by pitch for the first baseman, Cuba Bess, who's out there on the right side of the infield. Seems to be doing just fine. 79 off the head, but still never nice. A backwards K for Ethan Crawford on the 94-mile-per-hour ring 'em up for Gary Grosjean's second K of the day. And out number 2 brings up the 9 spot. Number 9, Isai Santos, who in the past couple of homestands where the Ballers have visited, we usually saw him in either the leadoff spot or the number 2 spot. As of recent, he's been in that 9 spot. Santos swings and foul tips into the glove of Pappas for strike 1. We saw Santos on Friday night go 1 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. So far tonight, he's 0 for 1. Called strike, and Grosjean has a chance to clear out this inning. Another time called by the lefty Santos, one of 2 natural lefties in this starting 9. But now the starting lefty is off the mound. 0-2, fouled, third base side. Count remains the same. 80 degrees and sunny at first pitch. Right now, in terms of the crowd on hand today, a pretty lively crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Most of them opting for the shaded bleachers. Only a couple that are braving it out in the sun, including a Ballers fan I see. Inside out swing towards left field, and Jablonski grabs it on the run for out number 3. Gary Grosjean, 6 up, 6 down through his 2 innings of work, and we'll send it to the bottom of the 4th. We'll see if the Coast can get things going in these middle innings when we come back. You're listening to the Coast Media Network. Bottom of the 4th, Benjamin Rosengard, Jacob Jablonski, and Johnny Pappas due up against Reed Butts, who is still on the mound, with a 3-0 advantage for his visiting Ballers. Right now, if the Coast can't get things rolling in their direction, the Ballers just might keep that momentum throughout the rest of this game, going for their second potential series clincher in the final game at Blair Field. A called strike on a breaking ball to Rosengard starts him out. Oakland took the series their last time here at Blair Field. That was in the month of July, late in the month of July. The last big homestand. Rosengard slaps a foul ball near the ipso facto first base coach Jack Martin, who's usually out there on his off days. 0-2 count on Rosengard. Rosengard got his way aboard, came all the way around to third, but was left stranded. That's been the story for the past couple of innings for the Long Beach Coast. Takes a ball outside, fastball at 87. Right now, in the first 3 innings, the Long Beach Coast have left 5 stranded. 17 left on base in the first 2 games. Pitch misses low on a fastball that's challenged by Smith. The second attempt of a challenge by an Oakland baller, and it's going to be the second successful challenge. They're 6 successful on the series of now 10 attempts. They've lost their challenges for the first 2 games of the series, but right now they're 2 for 2. They retain both challenges and get a strikeout on Benjamin Rosengard to start off their bottom of the 4th.
If I'm Rosengard, I would not be angry about that call. It barely grazed the strike zone, so your eye is still pretty much intact there.
Jablonski takes a breaking ball high for ball 1. Batting from the right side today, a switch hitter. Tells me he has a little bit more power in his right-handed swing, though past couple of home runs we've seen here at Blair Field have tended to be from the left side. A called strike for a 1-1 count. He got his way aboard with a single, a 1-out single, and was one of the 2 left stranded in the second inning. He pops it up, throws his bat down. Leahy waits for it in the infield for out number 2. 7 pitches, 2 outs for Butts. And now Johnny Pappas, the last hope in the 4th inning. Grosjean doing a great job these last couple of innings to keep bats quiet and keep things fast. 10 pitches in his first inning of appearance, 12 in his second. And now he might strike 1 on Pappas. He struck out his first time up. He's one of the 3 strikeout victims now of Reed Butts. 1-1, misses low and inside. Butts' fastball has some downward action. Has a 4-pitch set. 4-seam fastball that you saw there at 87, usually around 86, 87. Catcher, has a changeup and a slider and a curveball. This time he finds the zone. He was trying to locate that last pitch near the knees and low to Pappas for a 2-2 count. Nobody on, 2 outs, a 2-2 count, and a 3-0 advantage for the Ballers. Fastball outside gets Pappas swinging for strike 3, and Butts works a clean frame in the 4th. Nobody left on for the first time this afternoon for the Coast, who still trail 3-0. Grosjean will take the mound when we come back in the top of the 5th. You're listening to the Coast Media Network. Top of the fifth and top of the batting order for the Oakland Ballers, who lead 3-0. Gary Grosjean will try and work another quick inning. 22 pitches through now 2 innings of middle relief after the starter Brett Wozniak only had 2 innings on the mound in his first start since June. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook, and now Noah Blythe, who was the difference maker in his last at-bat, hit the 3-run home run to put the Ballers on the board. Back in the top of the second, fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. And now that we're here right around the middle part of the game, it's time for the Miller's Musing.
I'm so pumped for this.
All right. This is
idea.
A segment every Sunday that I like to do where my weird brain thinks of weird things to discuss, interesting things to discuss. A swing and a miss by Blythe. He's down 0-2. Now, Jesse, did you know that today is the 133-year anniversary of the first MLB no-hitter from 60 feet and 6 inches off the mound?
I had no idea.
Right-handed pitcher Bill Hawk of the Baltimore Orioles. He beat the Washington Senators 5-0 on August 16th, 1893. Now, why do I say specifically from 60 feet 6 inches? I'll tell you that after this pitch. The slider misses outside for ball 1. Major League Baseball kicked off 150 years ago in 1876, and in those first 5 seasons, the pitcher's mound was 45 feet away from home plate. Swing and a miss for Gary Grosjean's 3rd strikeout of the game. Gets out number 1. He's retired 7 in a row. Now here comes Nick Leahy. Then after 1881, the pitcher's mound was from 50 feet. They moved it back 5 feet, and that's when they started to allow overhand pitching. The first 4 years of Major League Baseball, they could only pitch underhand from the mound. There wasn't really an elevated mound until 1893, where they had introduced the rubber and an elevated mound at 60 feet 6 inches that we now know today. An 0-1 count on Nick Leahy. And that very first year, Bill Hawk had the very first no-hitter from the mound.
Well, those early years of baseball, players really did not wear gloves. Gloves were not mandated until I think around that same time in the 90s, in the 1890s. And bats were just way larger. They were tree branches.
Swing and a miss is Nick Leahy swings his tree branch through for strike 2.
And the baseball was what's called a lemon peel ball.
Yep.
With that X seam instead of what we know now where you have those horseshoe patterns for the seams on the baseball, and it was a lot bigger and a lot squishier. So the baseball couldn't be hit as hard. That's why they threw so much closer and so much slower.
1-2 popped up first base side and foul. Still a 1-2 count on Nick Leahy, but the reason that I bring that up is to tie into some Pioneer League history. So 327 recognized MLB no-hitters, including Bill Hawks in 1893. By the way, Troy Percival and Jerome Williams
played in that game in 1893.
They may say that, but they're not right. Swing and a miss for Gary Grosjean, back-to-back Ks, and now I'll have to get through my point a little quicker. Percy and Rome were never involved in a no-hitter at the major league level. Troy Glaus actually was involved in a no-hitter on the other side in 2010 in his final season of his career with the Atlanta Braves. Ubaldo Jimenez for the Colorado Rockies on April 17th, 2010. Pitched to Troy Glaus. He actually almost broke up that no-hitter, but an incredible play in the infield by Troy Tulowitzki stopped him. Now Jake Allgaier takes the first pitch inside for strike 1. But the reason I bring that up, the Pioneer League has been around since 1939. They started keeping track of their records in 1964. And Jesse, can you tell me the number of no-hitters that this league has seen, affiliated or otherwise?
Well, I know at this era it's 1.
Yes.
And before that, I'd have to imagine loads. I mean, you've got
Since 1964.
Since 1964, that's more than 50 years of history. I'd say maybe 1 every 3 years, so 17.
A little bit more than that, actually twice that number. 34 no-hitters, 19 solo, 15 combined, and actually 1 perfect game in 1994 by Jason Robbins. A foul ball by Allgaier. He's down 0-2 with 2 strikes, 2 outs. 3-0 advantage for the Ballers. Now, Jason Robbins of the Billings Mustangs, he was playing the Medicine Hat Blue Jays that August in 1994. 0-2 fouled into the Steve Traxel bullpen by left field. Grosjean has a chance to strike out the side. Now, 21 of those 34 no-hitters were 9-inning games. So 13 of them were not the full 9 innings. I don't know if that disqualifies the impressive achievement. Yeah, it's still an impressive achievement, and an impressive achievement for Gary Grosjean as he gets Allgaier to swing and miss. A strikeout the side for Grosjean, 9 up, 9 down in 3 innings of work. Holds the line, still 3-0 Ballers. We'll tell you more about this Miller's Musing on the other side of this break in the bottom of the 5th when we come back on the Coast Media Network. Bottom of the 5th, and Gary Grosjean is speeding through the Ballers lineup. He's seen now all 9, and none of them have gotten on base in the past 3 innings, but the Ballers still lead 3-0. That's the thing that's still looming over the head of these Long Beach Coast in this rubber match game. Still needing to get some offense. Reed Butts, 4 scoreless innings in this shutout. Anthony Mata, the 9 spot, will be the first to face off against him. Butts had his shortest inning in the bottom of the 4th. Called strike 1 on Mata. We were just talking about our Miller's Musings today. The 133-year anniversary of the first no-hitter from the official 60 feet 6 inches. That was Bill Hawk of the Baltimore Orioles. Anthony Mata rips this one into left field. It falls for a base hit. And now he's chugging along to second for a leadoff double. First hit since the 3rd inning, and a runner in scoring position for the Long Beach Coast, threatening to stop this shutout. Robert Pitts, the leadoff man, will try and carry on this initial spark for Anthony Mata, who drove that changeup just beyond Jake Allgaier in left field. We talked about how there have been 35 combined no-hitters, recognized no-hitters, in the Pioneer League specifically. 1 in the modern era. A bunt up the first base line, underhanded by Butts. A nice play there by the starting lefty, who barehanded that one to get out number 1. It's a sacrifice that advances Anthony Mata to 3rd. 1 out for Spence Kaufman now. Kaufman 0 for 2 in today's game. His first day game with the Long Beach Coast, having found himself in that 2 spot. First pitch to Kaufman misses low for ball 1. And when Kaufman came to this team from the Red Pocket Mobiles this week, there were a lot of questions over where does he fit in this lineup. Now, sure, Kaufman is a speedster who can book it up the line, get those infield singles, come up in clutch situations, as he did yesterday to tie up the game with a 4-pitch walk in the ninth with the bases loaded. A 2-0 count here now on Kaufman. Also a flashy defender that we've seen some great plays thus far. But right now, the infield before him was Rosengard at third, Mata and Jablonski up the middle, both excellent defenders as well. 3-0 count now on Kaufman, but so far he has found himself as a fixture in the top part of the lineup because he's been getting hits. As that pitch hits for strike one.
Yeah, what would someone in a movie about the former team from where Oakland plays say about a good ball player? He gets on base.
And there he does on a ball that misses low for his first time on base this afternoon. Runners at the corners with one out now for Emilio Corona, who has done a good job getting on base. Back-to-back singles drives him for a 2-for-2 day.
Well, I would say this is the most crucial at-bat so far in the game for Long Beach. Corona's 2 for 2. Other guys have failed with 2 men on base. It's a lefty pitching to a righty with fewer than 2 outs. You have to capitalize here.
I'd say so. And right now, in Emilio Corona's experience with the lefty on the bump, he is now 3 for 6 against him. Pops one up to deep center field. That should be deep enough to score the run. Mata tags up and heads home for the first run of the ball game. Breaking up the shutout. 3-1 RBI for Emilio Corona. And out number 2, Kaufman stays put at first base.
That is exactly what you needed. You didn't need a home run there. It would have helped. You didn't need anything in the gap. You just needed to get one. Once you find that first run, the others come a little bit more easily.
That one went 358 feet, just about 40 feet shy of the center field wall. Now Cuba Bess, the team leader in home runs, takes the first pitch low and outside for ball one. Cuba Bess has hit one of his 22 home runs against Reed Butts. He's now 1 for 6 against the lefty. 1-0, just outside the corner for ball 2. Back to the Miller's Musing, though. The first ever no-hitter in the Pioneer League. Can you imagine when that was?
Well, if the stats go back to 1964, I'd say 1964.
It was the 60s, but it was 4 years after. A deep drive and foul to the right field side for strike one. It was July 28, 1968. Edmund Manti of the Salt Lake City Giants facing off in a 7-inning match against the Ogden Dodgers. And I'll tell you why that's important in a sec, as this one's up the middle, right into the glove of Santos. More on that point in the top of the 6th. A run scores at long last for the Long Beach Coast, but they still trail by 2. Into the 6th we go on the Coast Media Network. Zooming into the 6th inning of baseball, Joey Miller, Jesse Cook, Garrett Grosjean back on the mound. 10 pitches in his first frame back in the 3rd, 12 in the 4th, 14 in the 5th. That's 3 innings of work, 36 pitches, and a relief appearance for Grosjean. A breaking ball in the zone. Jeter Ibarra, the first batter for the Ballers, challenges it, taps his helmet, and it's going to be a successful one. For ball 1, they are now 3 for 3 in attempts this afternoon. Missed a bit low and inside on the league leader in home runs. 1-0, fouled out on the third base side for a strike. The Ballers have not had a hit since the 2nd inning. And speaking of no-hitters, back to the Miller's musing. We talked about the first ever Pioneer League no-hitter, Edmund Manti of the Salt Lake City Giants against the Ogden Dodgers. Swing and a miss for Jeter Ibarra, who's behind 1-2 on Grosjean. Now, the 1968 Ogden Dodgers, do you know who was managing that team?
I believe that would be before Tommy Lasorda's managerial career.
No, you got it. It was Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, how about that?
Who made his managerial debut in 1965 for the Ogden Dodgers. From 65 to 68, 4 seasons in Ogden. Now the Ogden Raptors, who Long Beach just faced off against on their previous road trip. 2-2 count now as the next pitch misses outside for ball 2. So that was the very first. Now on to the most recent affiliated no-hitter. 3-2 count now on Ibarra. 5th pitch misses. That was Yasmer Solorzano. Yasmer Solorzano of the Great Falls Voyagers in the 2016 campaign. A 6-pitch walk, and now here's the first base runner that Gary Grosjean has given up after retiring 9 straight. Brendan O'Sullivan to the dish, who's 0 for 2 today. Yasmer Solorzano is the only player in Pioneer League history to have been involved in multiple no-hitters. He has started in multiple no-hitters, rather, and still the only player to have been involved in 2. A chin music, wild pitch for Gary Grosjean allows Jeter Ibarra to advance into scoring position. First time the Ballers have had a runner in scoring position since they put 3 on the board in the 2nd inning. Ball 1 to Brendan O'Sullivan. But the most recent no-hitter and the only no-hitter in the modern era, the MLB Partner League era of the Pioneer League, that was 2 years ago. September 5th, 2024, Ogden facing off against the Glacier Range Riders, coincidentally enough, the 2 teams that Long Beach saw on their first ever trip to the Rocky Mountain region. It was an 8-0 no-hitter that was started by Mitchell Stone of the Ogden Raptors, Sean Triplett, Cameron Edmondson, and Dylan Matsuoka, who finished that one out. Still no other no-hitters in a league that has been predominantly hitter-friendly, because for the longest time, or rather for the first couple of years of this new indie ball era, all of the teams were in the Rocky Mountain region. Higher altitude means the ball travels further. 2024, the Yuba Sutter High Wheelers and the Oakland Ballers debut.
By the way, Dylan Matsuoka last year an Oakland Baller.
All ties to Oakland here in their final trip to Blair Field. Runner at second, Rosengard, the hot corner, creeps in after that mound visit by Jerome Williams. A 1-0 count for Brendan O'Sullivan. Shows bunt, gets it up the first base line. Bess in, and he's going to lay the tag on number 8. A successful sacrifice gets Jeter Ibarra to third. A 2-run deficit now for the Oakland Ballers with 1 out. Here in the top of the 6th, Connor Smith. No, not Connor Smith. It's going to be a new batter. We will see who this new batter is. Batting from the left side, it looks to be John Stone, who's been the leadoff man for the past couple of nights, not in the starting lineup this afternoon. Johnstone going with the lefty against the righty as the infield is drawn in to try and cut the run. First pitch to Johnstone is in the strike zone. 0-1 count on Johnstone, who went 0 for 5 last night. Had a couple hits in the very first appearance here at Blair Field on Friday night, including a 2-run single. Takes the next pitch high and outside for a 1-0 count. Aaron Miles trying to play the averages here. Can never be too close of a score. As great as the pitching has been for the Oakland Ballers this series, a check swing, and Bing Xu at third base says that Johnstone did not cross his barrel to home plate. A 2-1 count. Two for 9, and it's going to be the third hit for Johnstone as he pokes it through the right side for an RBI single. Back to a 3-run lead. The Ballers lead 4-1 now, as Gary Grosjean gives up his first hit in his 12th batter faced. Damage done here in the top of the 6th, but still Grosjean can limit it. TJ Rogers to the plate with a runner at first, and he takes strike 1 on the fastball at 92. Grosjean from the stretch looks up and down. The 0-1 misses low and outside on a fastball yanked. A little bit of a late release point there. The Truckee, California native goes at it with the 1-1. It's fouled back for strike 2. This inning kicked off with a base on balls that has now come around to score, courtesy of a wild pitch, a sacrifice bunt from Brendan O'Sullivan, and then an RBI single from the man at first. That's Logan Johnstone. Heater outside, a 2-2 count now. This is the first time that the Ballers have visited Blair Field in a weekend series. First day game against the Ballers at Blair Field. And there's a fair line drive up the left field line. It's going to be extra bases for TJ Rogers. Johnstone goes from first to third on the double. Back-to-back hits off of Gary Grosjean. And here comes Troy Percival. A lefty in the pen. And he's heading his way out of the Jared Weaver bullpen to end Gary Grosjean's appearance. We'll tell you who that new lefty is when we come back. 4-1 Ballers. They score 1 here in the top of the 6th. We'll be right back. The new arm on the mound for the Long Beach Coast, who now trail by 3, is Jake Dixon, the left-hander. And Dixon came in on Friday night after Hammerling threw 6 innings of work, giving up 3 hits. And then Jake Dixon came in the top of the 7th, gave up 3 hits of his own, and broke the shutout. The shutout. Gave up 2 runs on just 1 hit by Logan Johnstone, who is currently at third. Infield is drawn in with runners at second and third with 1 out. 4-1 is the score. The Ballers lead after the Johnstone RBI pinch hit single. Ethan Crawford takes the first pitch breaker outside for a 1-0 count. Jake Dixon, his 33rd appearance in a Coast uniform. 2-0 record. But the thing to look at right now is batting average against just .320. After his last appearance, where he only threw 2/3 of an inning and gave up 3 hits. Crawford takes another pitch outside. Going at it with the lefty on righty matchup. Isai Santos in the on deck circle. It will be a lefty on lefty matchup. Foul ball, first base side towards Park Avenue. For the first strike to Crawford, who's 1 for 2. Gary Grosjean leaves the game, his line unfinished, 3 1/3 innings of work. Gives up 2 hits, those 2 hits in his final 2 batters faced. He struck out the side in the 5th. Speeding through the Ballers lineup with the 9 up, 9 down in his first 3 innings of work, but after the leadoff walk issued here in the top of the 6th, things fell out of sorts for the reliever. 3-1 as the fastball misses high to Crawford, the DH tonight. The former bullpen catcher of the Oakland Ballers looking to take this series, potentially their 2nd consecutive in their final at Blair Field in the regular season. The 3-1 hard ground ball to the hot corner. Rosengard puts a stop on it and gets it to first. Does what a third baseman needs to do in that situation. That's cut the run. He looked over at Johnstone at third, made sure he stayed put, and got out number 2.
Well, Joey, 107 miles per hour off the bat. There's no reaction time there, but Rosengard, already starting low, just dropped to a knee very quickly and made himself bigger. That's what hockey goalies do when they drop into the butterfly. They increase their size and the area they cover, because the lower you get, the less room there is underneath for the ball to get through, and a higher chance you just grab a piece of it.
Rosengard, the Blackhawks fan, they've seen their fair share of great goalies in their tenure. And now he tries to emulate them with getting out number 2. Isai Santos still has runners at second and third, but the infield is back into a bit of a normal range. Rosengard still creeping on the pulse side of Santos, who takes ball 1.
Yeah, we call on that Rosengard's Corey Crawford impression over there.
I was thinking, Chelios, is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't think so.
I am not the hockey fan here. The Hall of Famer? 1-0, breaking ball below the zone. A 2-0 count for Isai Santos, who's 0 for 2 today.
Well, Chris Chelios was a forward.
Okay. So clearly I know nothing about hockey. But Corey Crawford, we'll go with him. 2-0. Hard hit on the ground up the first base line, but fell.
I think you were probably maybe getting Tony Esposito in there. Another great player of a similar era. You got to go back for Ed Belfour, Glenn Hall.
Who am I thinking of in the Patrick Kane era when they were winning those cups?
Corey Crawford.
Okay. 2-1. Isai Santos fouls it to the third base side now. Goes both ways with his 2 strikes now. Dixon can finish out things strong here in the top of the 6th. Coast finally plated a run in the bottom of the 5th. And if Dixon can get out of this jam, they can try and continue that momentum. Swing and a miss. Waved on the fastball below the knees. Dixon gets the final 2 outs of the top of the 6th, leaves 2 stranded in scoring position, and we'll send it to the bottom of the 6th with a 4-1 advantage for the Ballers. We'll be right back on the Coast Media Network. Bottom of the 6th, and right now the Ballers have taken another run across after 3 scoreless innings by the Coast pitchers. And now Reed Butts back on the mound. He's going to be working for his 6th appearance. Matthew Bardowell, the first to face things against the lefty. The first pitch to Bardowell misses low for ball 1. One-0 count on the righty Bardowell. Cracked on the ground, caught by the shortstop Rogers. Fantastic Superman play to get out number 1. Robs Bardowell of a hit to bring up Rosengard, who made an incredible play of his own to cut a run just in the top part of this inning. 4-1 is the score. Rosengard takes the first pitch high, much like Bardowell did. 3-run deficit heading into the back half of the middle 3 innings. 1-0 fouled upstairs. Rosengard tried to chase it. He's going to step out of the batter's circle here for a second to readjust his batting gloves. Reed Butts gave up his first and only run just in the past half inning, or rather the past inning of work. Rosengard sends a drive out into left center, deep left center. It's caught by Santos for out number 2. 5 pitches, 2 outs for Reed Butts. Looking for a win here. He's already in line for one. Jacob Jablonski, 1 for 2 today. He has 4 hits against Reed Butts. Now 4 for 7 against the veteran left-hander. First pitch is Jablonski, right back up the middle, kicks off of second base. Leahy tries to get a throw off and does. Oh my goodness, a stroke of luck for the middle infielders of the Oakland Ballers. Gets a 1-2-3 for Reed Butts, and he needs only 6 pitches to get the scoreless shutdown inning heading into the 7th. 4-1 Ballers. And we'll be right back. Jesse Cook will be on the mic through the final 3 when we come back.
New pitcher in the game for the Long Beach Coast as we move along into the top of the 7th inning. 4-1 the Oakland Ballers lead. Now pitching for Long Beach, the Submarine Arm, Steven Ordorica, the righty, facing off at the top of the order for Oakland. Noah Blythe squares to bunt, lays it down a high chopper, third base side and foul. Well, Blythe used his bat swinging away to send Oakland into the lead with a 3-run homer in the second inning. There he holds it up and tries to lay it down. Ordorica walking into this game is team leading 41st appearance of the year with a .430 earned run average. The right-hander saddles up, drops low and fires. Sweeping in for a strike on the slider on the outer half. 0-2 count. Ordorica, over his last 10 outings, has allowed just 1 earned run. Pitched against Oakland on Friday. His next pitch painted down the right field line and fair, hugging the chalk. Into the corner, Blythe rounding first. Robert Pitts without his hat, has it in right field. He hurls it back to the infield, and Blythe holds up at second with a lead-off double. Well, this is how Oakland has gotten the job done all series, by playing the sharpest angle they can down each foul line. Yesterday, both Jeter Ibarra and Brendan O'Sullivan marked RBI doubles on the exact same swing like that. This time, luckily for Long Beach, there's no one on base for Blythe to bring around.
And they didn't even have extra bases in their first game here. 5 hits in the first night on Friday night. They got their first extra base hit last night with one of those down-the-line doubles, like you mentioned. Noah Blythe was the person who did that.
Well, here comes Nick Leahy as Blythe stands on second base, chatting on up with Anthony Mata behind him. Pinch hitter for Oakland instead, Mitchell Sanford, replacing Blythe, replacing Leahy. Runner on second, nobody out, top 7. 4-1 Oakland, pitch. Misses high and inside. Sanford, a .370 batter across his prior 15 games in an Oakland jersey. Out of the stretch, he cuts, ropes it to second, pouncing past Spence Kaufman into right field, green light at third, relay to the plate, throw home, beats him by a mile, tag applied, oh, there's no doubt! Hosed on his way home! Pappas applies the tag, and Blythe gets greedy and pays for his avarice. Runner on first after that relay from right field. Of course, on Aquarium Day at the ballpark, they're going to break out the hose. Watered down at home. Robert Pitts starting that play.
Wow. That was on the money. using all of his momentum in on that ground ball and just laid a dot into the mitt of Johnny Pappas.
Here it's Jake Allgaier, 0 for 3, righty to lefty. He winces at the high inside slider. 1-0. Ordorica stares home, tilts his glasses down, flips, and hits for a strike, blown away. Allgaier settling in here, still 4-1 Oakland. Top of the 7th inning, 1 out, runner on first. The pitch, he swings and tears that one up the middle into center field on the ground. Sanford holds up at second, Allgaier on at first. Oakland beginning this frame with back-to-back-to-back knocks to bring up the league leader in homers, Jeter Ibarra. Tied up for first all-time in Oakland's history with last year's mark of Christian Almanza at 31. Ordorica glances at second, digs home, and misses high and inside on that slider as he has to each of the last 3 batters on the first pitch thrown their way, including Ibarra. 0 for 2, Ibarra walked last time up on a full count. Next pitch, he cuts and tears it foul to the right side. 1-1. Ibarra 2 for 4 yesterday, making him 2 for 10 in total on the series to this point. Ordorica, heavy breath, here it is. Called a strike on the sinker, blown away. Challenged by Ibarra, who's already been successful on 2 challenges today. Make it 3 on his Red Pocket Mobile ABS Strike Zone challenges, as announced by public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez. Oakland 5 for 5 on appeals. 4 for 4, rather. 2-1. Cutting a dribbler to second. Spence Kaufman has it. Turns the keystone for 1. The turn to first in time. Well, after that ground ball got by Kaufman on his dive, that ended up causing Robert Pitts to throw Noah Blythe out at the plate. The second baseman makes no mistake here, flipping it for a 2 for 1. We move on to stretch time. 4-1. Long Beachers score on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Well, after the 7th inning stretch, here we go. The Long Beach Coast coming up to the plate in a deficit. Oakland leading 4-1 at Blair Field on this getaway day matinee. The Oakland Ballers playing their last contest in Long Beach. The Coast bringing up Johnny Pappas' spot, but Eddie Pelk replacing him in the order with a pinch hit appearance. Still against Reed Butts. First pitch to Long Beach's normal leadoff man that misses up high. 1-0 count. This is Pelk's first time pinch hitting this season. He's only sat out for 3 games. 1-0. He stares at that one up high. 2-0 count. Pelk, the team leader in batting average at .368. The Huntington Beach native also reaching base at a .531 clip this season. Out of the stretch. Fastball for a strike, high and away. Pelk waving his ivory batting gloves over the similarly colored chalk. Next pitch. Curveball for a strike on the outer half. 2-2 count. And Eddie Pelk leads the league in on-base percentage with that .531 mark among players who have appeared in at least half their team's games. 2-2. Curveball called strike 3, middle and away. Pelk immediately challenges, and there's no way you're going to know better than the guy who is first in the history of the league to 100 walks. What pitches are in the zone? Eddie Pelk overturns that strike call on a successful Red Pocket Mobile ABS Strike Zone challenge. Pelk reaching triple digits in both hits and walks during this series. 3-2. He cuts and flares it over the back netting. Foul ball there. Eddie's 102 hits, second on the team behind Emilio Corona's 108. His 102 walks, first in the history of the PBL. Payoff again. Fastball misses low and outside. Pelk shuttles his bat aside with walk number 103. It is worth noting that this is game 78 out of 96. He still has 3 more weeks of baseball in the regular season to advance this already ridiculous total. And here comes Oakland's manager, Aaron Miles, pointing to the bullpen, doing so with his left arm, but he hasn't tapped his right or left yet, so we'll wait to see who this is charging out of the door to the Steve Traxel visiting bullpen in left field. It is a righty. I'll tell you all about whoever this mystery man is when we return on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Rolling back to it in the bottom of the 7th inning with the Coast trailing. The Oakland Ballers lead 4-1. There's a new pitcher in the game with a runner on first and nobody out. Brock Mayer, the CSU Fullerton product. replaces the starter Reed Butts after 6 innings of work, during which time he allows just 1 run on 4 hits. Replacing the lefty with a righty. Mayer digging in against Anthony Mata. Eddie Pelk, the runner on first. He pinch hit for catcher Johnny Pappas and earned a walk, his 103rd of the season. Most in league history. Righty to righty. Mata swings and misses. 0-1 count there. Mayer walking in to his 15th appearance of the season, all out of the bullpen with an earned run average of 9.00. Mata 1 for 2 so far. Glove at the belt. Mayer kicks high, squares to bunt, but pops that one up to the backstop. 0-2 count. Make sure you stay tuned to the Long Beach Coast YouTube page where you can catch all of our content surrounding the team, including our exclusive interview with the man at the plate, Anthony Mata. That'll be dropping later this week, talking about his journey in baseball, playing with many of his Long Beach teammates on previous teams, including the man who he shares the middle of the infield with, Jacob Jablonski. Guy who he's known longer than anyone else on the ball club. He also talks about what it means to start a business with his wife, Felina Mata, a legendary JUCO softball player, a 3-time All-American, under the name Felina Pote, before they were married. 0-2. Fastball letter high for a 1-2 count. 4-1 Oakland. Runner on first, nobody out. Bottom 7. Mata wearing his teal socks, pulled to just above the ankle. Eddie Pelk the same, dancing off of first. Out of the stretch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. 1 out, bringing up the top of the order in Robert Pitts for Long Beach in the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-1 Oakland. And Joey, you've already got your haircut appointment with the man at the plate.
Yep.
Robert Pitts cuts hair for his teammates in his spare time. We watched him doing that yesterday with Nick Bautista, Jackson Bird, Steven Ordorica. The list goes on. Teal sleeves on both arms. First pitch, Pitts keeps those sleeves where they are, watching the fastball downstairs for ball 1.
Well, we'll probably get to learn more about, what got him into cutting hair. We're going to record it. We're going to get that out for you on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. But I need a haircut, and I told him that, and he said he's got me.
1-0. Pitts leans out of the way, pulling a Michael Jackson move. Pulling his knees out towards the plate and dropping his back as close to the ground as he could get it without actually touching it. Now he's back up. 2-0. Pitts, a .227 hitter during his abbreviated professional career. Just his 7th start. 2-0. Curveball falls for a strike. A 2023 walk-on at the University of Michigan, rather 2022. Pitts then played 1 JUCO season at Cypress College, about 10 miles inland from here. Then 24 and 25 at UC Riverside. 2-1, upstairs, 3-1 count. Playing under now is manager Troy Percival, alongside the man who just struck out, Anthony Mata, with Jackson Bird, Matthew O'Brien, David Whittle also on that team. Cole Percival, an alum. So 6 Highlanders on the Coast roster. 3-1. Heater hits for a strike, blown away. Pitts started jogging off towards first. Now he challenges, but he's off on that one. Public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez overturning that strike call to ball 4. So Pitts is aboard with the second walk of the inning. Eddie Pelk on second base now with 1 out. Long Beach bringing the tying run to the plate in the form of Spence Kaufman, who joined the team in a trade from the Mobiles on Monday. Well, Mayer only needed a couple pitches to get through his last outing at home against Modesto on Thursday, but before that, he couldn't keep teams off the board. Righty to righty. He pitches to Kaufman, who swings, jogs that one, a slow roller to third, field on the run. Brendan O'Sullivan throws to first in time. 2 away with 2 men in scoring position for Long Beach. A trope we've heard a couple times already today. Bottom of the 7th inning, 4-1 Oakland. Here comes Emilio Corona. He has produced in every plate appearance. 2 for 2 with a sac fly last time up. But in the 4 prior outings to that third of a frame against Modesto, Mayer allowed at least 1 run, no matter the length of the outing, how brief or extended it was. Mayer sets to the righty Corona. The pitch. Swing and a miss, dropping down to a knee. 0-1. 4-1 Oakland. Runners on second and third. 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. Mayer sets, steps. Corona swings and misses. It's an 0-2 count, biting on the curveball twice. In this series, Emilio Corona batting .500 at 5 for 10. He needs to battle to keep that going. 0-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3 on the outer half. Corona challenges, and he gets to stay at the plate. Public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez confirming that Long Beach is correct and overturning the strike call for the second time this inning on the Red Pocket Mobile ABS Strike Zone Challenge. 1-2 for Corona. Pitch the runner on second. Eddie Pelk on third. 2 out, bottom 7. Long Beach down by 3. The infield back for the hard-hitting Corona. Tan bat raised next to his head. 1-2, swing and a miss. Moot point on the challenge. We move on to the 8th inning with Long Beach for the 3rd time this game, stranding 2 runners on base. The 2nd time, stranding 2 runners in scoring position. We'll be back on the Long Beach Baseball Network. The Long Beach bullpen is set again to deal after the offense suffers a missed opportunity, stranding 2 men in scoring position. Steven Ordorica on the mound, Oakland leading 4-1. First pitch to Brendan O'Sullivan. He swings and pops it up. Shortstop Anthony Mata underneath, hand glove up. He makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out for the Long Beach Submarine reliever. That brings back Connor Smith to the plate. 0 for 2, lining out to first his last time up. Cuba Best went leaping for it. Righty to righty. Drops in for a strike. 0-1 count. Smith hitless across this series. Next pitch, he bounces that one off of catcher Johnny Pappas' mask. 0-2 count. Correction, Smith recorded a hit late in yesterday's game, making him 1 for 8 to this point. But he does have a home run, technically, in the knockout round, the post-game home run derby that follows if the game is tied through 9 innings in place of extra innings. He won the ball game for Oakland that way last night. 0-2. Swinging a lift to the backstop foul. Now, the last 2 nights, the team with the lead has entered the 9th inning ahead by 3 runs and blown it with 2 outs, forcing a knockout round. Well, Oakland leads by 3 right now in the top of the 8th. Bouncer to third, fielded by Rosengard on the run. Crow hops to first in time. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 8th, 4-1 Oakland. I told you, the baseball gods have been getting lazy this week. Well, maybe we're headed down that path one more time. Here's T.J. Rogers. 1 for 2, walking in the second, grounding out to second base in the 4th, and hitting a 2-bagger, a double to left field, last time up in the 6th. Righty to righty. He swings and taps that one to the backstop, 0-1 count. Oakland in desperate need of a turnaround at this point in the season. Out of the playoff picture by a couple leaps and bounds. 0-1, swung on and missed, 0-2 count. In the second half standings, Oakland is 5 games out of a playoff spot. In the overall standings, Oakland is in a deeper hole, 7 games out. And even if Oakland does mount a comeback, they're preying on a few teams to lose. 0-2, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says crew chief, first base umpire Neil Turner. We move on to the bottom of the 8th inning after Ordorica deals a 1-2-3 frame. For Long Beach, it's 4, 5, and 6. Cuba Best, Matthew Bardowell, and Benjamin Rosengard when we return on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Bottom of the 8th inning on the way, and the Long Beach Coast are backing themselves up against the wall, down by 3 to the Oakland Ballers, who have a 4-1 advantage, sending a new pitcher into the game, Tyler Bates, who made his professional debut right here at Blair Field back on July 21st. The left-hander takes on a fellow southpaw in Cuba Bess, the cleanup hitter in this Long Beach order. Jesse Cook with you on the mic, Joey Miller to my right. Bates takes a heavy breath, rears home. Bess watches the curveball. Dance sock level for ball 1. Bess 0 for 2 in this ball game to this point, reaching as a hit batsman in the 3rd. Bates, glove at the belt. Sets towards home. Bess swings, tags that one towards second and into right field on the ground. Long Beach has the leadoff man aboard But they faced problems at the end of the inning, not at the beginning. Long Beach 3 times in this game has stranded 2 runners on base. And 3 times in this game they have stranded at least 1 runner in scoring position. That leadoff knock sets up Matthew Bardowell, who, like Bess, is hit hungry today. 0 for 3, flying out to left in the second, grounding out to end the third, and leading off the sixth with a line out. A play where TJ Rogers went full extension, diving to his right to nab it. Bates from the stretch runs inside and hits Bardowell at the small of his back. Well, Long Beach has the tying run at the plate. 4-1 Oakland, bottom of the 8th inning, nobody out. Men on first and second for Benjamin Rosengard. Despite his 0 for 2 line today, Rosengard has been a tough out in this series. 2 for 4 across Friday and Saturday, reaching on a walk earlier today. Left hand at his belt buckle, forced into the mitt on his right. Bates turns home, flies the curveball way high and inside for a ball to Rosengard. But Connor Smith, the catcher, elects to challenge that call. We head to our ABS Red Pocket Mobile TrackMan Strike Zone Challenge system, and that is confirmed a ball, as announced by public address announcer Charlie Gonzalez. So Oakland is 4 for 5 now on challenge attempts in this game, and that appeal is their first miss. They only have 1 wrong answer remaining. 1-0. Rosengard stares at the fastball that misses low and away. The Ballers have been aggressive with their challenges this series, but they have run out of their contests before the 9th inning in each of the last 2 games in this weekend setup. Today now, 1 remaining. 2-0. Rosengard watches again. Breaking ball missing low and outside. Well, waiting on deck is Jacob Jablonski, who has a pretty good penchant for home runs. His last one on July 31st, a grand slam. That would hand Long Beach the lead, but they don't need a home run. Just need to keep chipping away. Bates, his 3-0. Rosengard keeps his bat in check as the fastball hits for a strike at 88 miles per hour, dead center. In games like this, where after the 7th inning, Long Beach is trailing, the Coast have 5 wins and 13 losses. At home, they have only 1 win where they have come from behind in the 9th inning. The 8th inning has been the best as far as run differential for the Coast this year. 3-1, Rosengard checks his swing. The pitch almost hits him. He's off to first base. The bags are juiced. Bases loaded for Long Beach with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. 4-1 Oakland, your score. And a man with 2 Grandies on the year, one that we just talked about a good week and a half ago, Jacob Jablonski, takes a turn at the plate. Here comes Oakland's pitching coach, Jim Diedrich. Played 6 games as a pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles back in 1994. Diedrich walks out to talk to his arm. Well, more on Long Beach's success in the 8th inning. No inning in the late frame has been nearly as productive for the Coast. 94 runs scored in the 8th inning on the season for a positive run differential of plus 43. Of Long Beach's 22 come from behind victories this season, 8 have arrived in the 8th or 9th inning. Correction, 5 have arrived in the 8th or 9th inning, like we talked about. The switch hitting Jacob Jablonski jogs up to the right side now with a chance to do some hefty damage. Bates setting up on the third base side of the rubber. The infield playing back. Middle infielders at double play depth. Silver bat placed behind his head. The pitch to Jablonski. A breaker of a curve that lands backdoor for a strike. This inning began on a Cuba Best single to right. Matthew Bardowell reached as a hit batsman. And Benjamin Rosengard walking on 5 pitches after that. 0-1. Jablonski watches again. Once again, it's the curveball bending in for a strike. Both of those rotating in at around 2,500 RPM. 0-2 count for Jablonski. He's 1 for 3 on the game. The Mission Hills native standing in. Teal arm sleeves pulled down to the wrist. 0-2. He cuts, bounces it to third. Snag by O'Sullivan, who throws home for the out. And Long Beach keeps the bases loaded on Brendan O'Sullivan's back pick down the third base line. A clutch play for a Ballers defense that has made some incredible stops in this series. Friday night, Jeter Ibarra saved the game before Long Beach won it in the knockout round by snagging a Cooper Vest line drive to first base at over 100 miles per hour off the bat. We've already seen TJ Rogers make his Superman catch in this game. And there, Brendan O'Sullivan gets it done at the hot corner. Here's Johnny Pappas on the right side. Lefty pitches. He watches that one dance by the hands. (4-1) Oakland. Bases loaded. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning. Bates from the stretch. Pappas checks his swing. Fastball called a strike. Pappas elects to challenge, and he's wrong. This pitch barely touches the strike zone, but it does catch a piece of it according to that appeal on the ABS Red Pocket Mobile TrackMan System challenge there. 1-1 for Pappas. Settles back in. Home plate umpire Arturo Belmonte calls time. Pappas playing a crucial role this weekend with a 2-hit ball game on Friday and appearing as the pitcher in the knockout round, the post-game home run derby that replaces extra innings, serving up the game winner to Cuba Bessa on Friday. 1-1. Holds off as the 87-mile-per-hour heater misses high and away. 2-1 count. Last night, before losing in the knockout round, Long Beach tied the game in the bottom of the 9th inning on a bases-loaded walk. That was to Spence Kaufman. 2-1 for Pappas. The pitch. Inside, off the thighs for ball 3.
Even on that miss, boy, does that curveball look pretty.
Wow.
Glides around him like a necklace.
15 inches of vertical drop there. Rather, horizontal break there. 3-1 pitch. Inside and low, and a run comes home. 4-2 Oakland with the bases still loaded for Long Beach and 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. That scores Bardowell from third. Rosengard replaces him. Now at second, Jacob Jablonski, and on first, Johnny Pappas with the RBI walk. That brings up Anthony Mata. He's recorded a .290 batting average with runners in scoring position. In situations like this, with the bases loaded, that average drops down to .267. Waiting on deck at the top of the order is Robert Pitts. He walked his last time up. Mata has already stroked a double in this game. He's 1 for 3. Bates, tan glove at the belt buckle, turns home. Mata swings and flies into shallow right center field. This may not be deep enough to score a run. Underneath, Noah Blythe makes a catch, tagging from third, and scoring is Rosengard. The throw went to the hot corner, so Long Beach is now within 1 run of Oakley. No movement on second from Jablonski. So with 2 away in the bottom of the 8th inning, the tying run remains in scoring position. 4-3 Ballers your score. And now the top of the order taking a turn. O'Sullivan's play at third to cut down Bess's run at the plate, looming very large at the moment. Had he made a mistake there, this game would now be tied. Lefty pitching to a righty. Here it is. Pitts watches that pretty curve. Hit for a strike, blown away. 0-1 count. A big moment for Pitts in his young professional career. The rookie making his 7th start today. 0-1. Another floater that misses by the eyes. 1-1 count. No RBIs yet on his pro campaign for Pitts. 1-1. He cuts and pops it up. First base side and foul. The catcher Smith chasing it down, and he makes the catch. So Long Beach adds 2, but will enter the 9th inning down a run. The Oakland Ballers sending their bats up to the plate in need of some insurance before Long Beach sends up the heart of its order in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be back with more on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Top of the 9th inning on the way, and tasked with damage control is left-hander Jackson Bird. Long Beach trailing by a run. The Oakland Ballers at the plate, leading 4-3. Bird, the left-hander, posting the second-best ERA on the club at .338. Walks in to take on Ethan Crawford, the right-handed bat. Bird, the lefty, has allowed runs in each of his last 2 outings. He replaces Steven Ordorica, the right-handed Submarine pitcher. First deal, misses up high on that 12-6 curveball. Bird, another UC Riverside product. Grips the baseball, moves it into his brown glove at his chest. After a heavy breath, his 1-0. Crawford watches the 85-mile-per-hour fastball for ball 2. The Oakland DH began his day with a single to center field, making him 1 for 3 on the game. Long Beach, the offense, tacking on 2 in the last inning to close the gap. Oakland looking for insurance. 2-0. There's that fastball again, this time at the knees for a strike. Bird, a two-way player, appeared as a pinch hitter last night for Long Beach. Recorded a sacrifice fly in that game-tying 9th inning. 2-1, misses high and away. His last time on the bump, he allowed a run over 2 innings to Yuba Sutter on Tuesday. Before that, 3 runs and a third of a frame in Glacier. But before that, 6 consecutive outings without a run allowed. His 3-1 cut on and dribbled down the third base side, but off his front foot foul. Crawford followed by a lefty in Isai Santos, and then the ever-dangerous Noah Blythe at the top of the order. We'll talk about him more, but he's punished Long Beach today with a double and a homer. Crawford taps both sides of the plate and resets. Bat in front of his eyes, now turned over his shoulder. Birds 3-2. Up high, ball four. The leadoff batter in the top of the ninth is aboard. 4-3 Oakland. The Coast pitching staff has limited the free passes this weekend. 3 on Friday, just 1 yesterday, and now 3 today. Lefty-lefty affair with Isai Santos here. 0 for 3. Twice flied out. He struck out swinging last time up. First pitch, fastball, attacks for a strike. 0-1 count. Santos, last time up, also faced a lefty in the form of Jake Dixon. Birds 0-1. Breaking ball, front door misses. Up high, 1-1 count. Bird shadowing his eyes with his teal cap. Looks down, flips home. Swinging a chopper, first base side and foul. 1-2 count for Santos, the 9-hitter in the Oakland order, wearing number 9. Four 3 ballers. Runner on first, nobody out, top 9. Bird trying to respond to that "Let's go Long Beach" chant. Whips. Swinging a tapper over Bird, back up the middle. Mata has it at short. Flip to second for 1, and no play at first. Kaufman stumbling to touch the bag. Anthony Mata grabbing that one behind second and shoveling it to Kaufman, who had to take a moment to try and work it out of his glove while feeling for the base. But there's 1 out now, still the runner on first, but for the top of the order, Noah Blythe. His home run in the second inning setting the tone in this game, a 3-run blast. After that, he doubled in the 7th, but was cut down trying to chase home Robert Pitts, keeping this game where it is with a laser beam to the plate, hosing Blythe. Catcher Johnny Pappas had the ball, maybe 3 seconds before Blythe even made his way home.
Yeah, and on that particular play, by the way, Anthony Mata tried to backhand his flip to Spence Kaufman, and perhaps a little bit of a fielding problem. Not necessarily a problem. He still got it in the vicinity of Kaufman, but you have to find the box where Kaufman can easily transfer it for the double play there.
Well, in any case, there's still 1 out after that. Out of the stretch, Blythe watches. Fastball for a strike, high and away. Long Beach has a pretty good ability to turn double plays. Once flipped 5 against this very same Oakland roster. Doing that on July 2nd. 0-1. Cut on and knocked foul to the left side. 0-2 count.
And if you'll recall in that game, the 14-1 complete game by Garrett Van Deventer, you think about 14 runs in a single game. So far, Long Beach has not even reached that mark in all 3 games of this series.
That's right. No team scoring more than 5 to this point. 0-2. Blythe on the right side. Bird from the stretch. Swung on and rocketed down the left side, but foul. Blythe's second inning home run beginning the scoring in this ball game. Logan Johnstone's pinch hit single in the 6th handed Oakland its 4th run. Long Beach scoring in the 5th, and then again in the 8th with 2 runs. Bird from the stretch, swinging a chopper out to short. Take 2 on the double play. Mata steps on second, throws to first. You bet! Oh, there's a little pizzazz to bring up the bats in the bottom of the 9th. 4-3 Oakland, still your score. Anthony Mata, if you don't succeed on the first try, well, the ball will make its way back to you. He flips that over to first, and we move on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Bottom of the ninth inning on the way for the Long Beach Coast, needing their second ever come-from-behind victory in the bottom of the ninth inning. Cooper Vest leads off, replacing Spence Kaufman in the order. The left-handed bat facing a new pitcher in search of his first save as a member of the Oakland Ballers, Christian Diaz. The right-hander, glove at the waist, kicks home. Vest watches. The changeup missing high and away, 1-0 count. Diaz, last year a Washington Wild thing, now making an appearance here with the Oakland Ballers, his 12th of the season. He deals. Vest watches the 85-mile-per-hour heater for a strike. 1-1 count. The BYU product, Vest, batting .312 on the season. High leg kick. That waves high and away. 2-1. Long Beach trailing Oakland 4-3 as we enter the bottom of the ninth inning. Oakland began the game with a Noah Blythe home run in the second inning, bringing around 3 tallies. 2-1. Down by the ankles. 3-1 count. The Ballers bolstered that claim with a run coming home on a Logan Johnstone pinch hit single. Long Beach's first tally came around the inning before that on a sac fly from Emilio Corona. 2-1, Vest, 3-1, Vest cuts and nails it to the backstop. Full count. Long Beach scoring 2 in the last frame. A bases-loaded walk to Johnny Pappas and a sac fly from Anthony Mata, pulling the Coast within arm's reach. Payoff to Vest. He swings and keeps himself alive, fouling it once again to the back netting. Long Beach is 1-5 at home and trailing after the 8th inning. 3-14 on the season as a whole. The 3-2, he cuts and pops it foul to the left side, also out of play. Every game this weekend with Oakland a good one. Friday night, Oakland comes back down to the final out. Long Beach does it on Saturday. 3-2, Vest swings and powers another one foul. Both Friday and Saturday ending in the knockout round. In the Pioneer League, we do not do extra innings. Just a reminder in case you haven't gotten tired of that rule this weekend. We're explaining it once more. We head to a home run derby if the game is tied after 9 frames. The payoff. Vest swings and again fouls it off to the left side. On Friday night, after Oakland tied it in the 9th inning, Long Beach prevailed with Cuba Best winning the knockout round. Last night on Saturday, Long Beach ties it up and then Oakland prevails, Connor Smith winning it. 3-2, Vest swings again and fouls off the 10th pitch of this at-bat. Well, welcome to the ball game for Christian Diaz. Cooper Vest forcing him to work. He faced Long Beach in his debut for Oakland on July 21st, allowing a run in an inning and 2/3. 3-2, swing and a miss. He also forced 4 of those against the Coast here at Blair Field on the 21st. 4 strikeouts then. Long Beach backed up here with the bases empty and 1 out for Emilio Corona after that 11-pitch marathon. Well, this has been your clutch guy today for Long Beach. Emilio Corona 2 for 3 with a sac fly in the 5th that we talked about last time up, however, striking out with 2 men in scoring position. Righty to righty. He cuts and cracks it to short. Rogers has it and strolls on to first for out number 2, and Long Beach is down to the final out. The Oakland Ballers 1 out away from winning their second series at Blair Field. Nobody else in the Pioneer League has ever gotten 1. Here's Cuba Bess. He won the game in the knockout round on Friday. Now he's tasked with keeping this one afloat. The team leader in home runs with 22. Saddles up, and right fielder Noah Blythe playing almost at the wall for him. First pitch. A breaking ball at 72 miles per hour for a strike. 0-1 count. Bess's lime green batting glove sitting at the base of his two-piece tan-handled and black-barreled bat. 0-1. Another curveball, this one called a strike high and away. Bess challenges, and the Red Pocket Mobile ABS Strike Zone Challenge is successful. That appeal overturning the strike call to a ball. Talking with fellow catcher Johnny Pappas during Saturday's Beach Ball pregame report, catchers know best. 1-1. Same spot, high and away for a ball. Johnny Pappas said that he and Cuba Bess learn a lot from each other, but they also have the best eyes on the team because they're conditioned playing behind the plate so frequently. 2-1. High and outside. 3-1 count.
Not to mention this particular series, Long Beach has been really great with the challenges, now 10 for 12.
Unreal. 3-1. Bess swings and foul tips it. So the Coast are down to their final strike. 4-3 Oakland, your score in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases empty. Diaz leans in, right arm by his right thigh. Now he sets. Bess crowding the plate on the left side. From the stretch, swinging a foul tip to the backstop. Both teams found themselves down to the final out over these last two games before battling to a tied-up situation. Has that magic finally run out? Full count pitch. Bess swings, knocks it right to second base. Allgaier sliding to it, throws on to first. And to answer that question, yes, it has. Oakland drops the first game in this series, and for the second time this year, rebound with back-to-back wins to take it. These teams will face off for 3 more games from August 28th to the 30th up in NorCal. But for now, Long Beach sits with that loss and takes it into Tuesday for a 6-game series against the Missoula Paddleheads. 4-3 your final. The Oakland Ballers take victory over the Long Beach Coast. We'll be back with our Beach Ball post-game report when we return on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Ending the week on a sour note, the Oakland Ballers hand the Long Beach Coast both a loss in the game and in the weekend series. Jesse Cook with you next to Joey Miller on our Beach Ball post-game report, wrapping up a 4-3 Ballers victory. Long Beach ending the first half of this 12-game homestand even at 3-3. But moving on the season to still a league best 56-22. The Ballers now 37-41, chasing a playoff spot. And Joey, we'll check in with some of the other scores around the league just to give a weekend capper on what the situation in the standings is. But let's talk about this game first. Reed Butts earns the win for Oakland, and he limited Long Beach to just 4 hits through 6 innings, only 5 on the game as a whole for a Coast team that has been preaching how much it needs more offense.
It looked pretty identical to what we've seen of the other 2 starters, but at an even better rate. David Thomas went 6 innings just like Reed Butts did. He gave up 4 runs. Ren Abe Arias gave up 4 runs in 8 2/3, but for the first time, Reed Butts, of these final 3 starters at Blair Field for the Oakland Ballers, only gives up that 1 run, only 1 scratch on his ticket, despite giving up hits right off the bat. We talked about how important it is to get runners on base. 17 runners left on base over the first 2 games, now 10 in just this final game alone. I'm looking particularly at the first 3 innings, which we've talked about ad nauseum all week, about what it means to try and score early. Oakland did that. They got the 3-run lead that pushed the momentum towards their side on that 1 home run, and that was what they needed to stay afloat with the great pitching that has been consistent throughout this series. There were a couple late attempts, but still runners left in scoring position on great opportunities, great potential rallies like that 8th inning with Bates on the mound where they got 2 across. They had the bases loaded with nobody out, but only putting across 2 of them is a bit sour when you have Robert Pitts going up there, a great chance to tie up the ball game heading into the 9th. But unfortunately, he pops out, and I think that's really what killed all of the potential momentum heading into the 9th. Jackson Bird, give him credit. He faced the minimum in that top of the 9th, but then in the bottom of the 9th, Christian Diaz, here in the press box, a lot of Dodgers fans, they've been complaining about a particular closer in the Los Angeles County region with the last name Diaz. Well, this Diaz seems to be the opposite of Edwin.
Yeah, evidently so. I mean, shuts down Long Beach. Took him 19 pitches. I mean, Cooper Vest really just extended him, but ended up being a moot point. Now, Long Beach, with that loss, sets up the first for starter Brett Wozniak on the season. This is return to the starting rotation. He missed every game between June the 19th and then his last outing, his first outing of this week on Tuesday, August 11th. So nearly 2 months without throwing a pitch in a live game. Makes a couple appearances this week out of the bullpen. And now his first start, he only allows 3 runs across his 2 innings with 3 strikeouts. Gary Grosjean relieves him very well with a 3 1/3 inning performance, retiring his first 9 batters, striking out 5. After that, Jake Dixon comes in, shuts the door on that 6th inning. Grosjean allowing 1 run on 2 hits. Dixon retiring the only 2 batters he faced. Steven Ordorica allows 3 hits in the 7th, but his defense backs him up for a double play, and Robert Pitts making a fantastic throw from right field to cut down Noah Blythe trying to score. So Ordorica ends up with 2 shutout innings with a strikeout. And like you said, credit where credit is due for Jackson Bird for his 9th inning, where he doesn't let his full count walk rattle him at all. Now checking in with other scores around the Pioneer League today, there have been some ridiculous ones. If you were looking for a good 9-inning game and you were looking outside of Southern California, your search probably came up empty. The only other 1-run finish was a game suspended between the Missoula Paddleheads and the Great Falls Voyagers on account of weather, but it was the second half of last night's game, so they really only played 4 innings today. Missoula winning 7-6. Other than that, the closest game that's wrapped up so far is a 12-8 victory for the Glacier Range Riders, rather the Billings Mustangs. Apologies for a pause. The Pioneer League live scoreboard that I keep finding is very unclear. It just shows a list of scores with the wrong team listed first. But looking at the full box score, elsewhere around the league, 21-4, the Boise Hawks beat the Mobiles on their Dollar Dog Day. And then the Ogden Raptors, who we know can put up a lot of runs because Long Beach both beat them by 17 and lost to them by 17, end up winning by only 16 over the Idaho Falls Chuckers. Now, Idaho Falls had 15 runs. Ogden wins with 31. And, oh boy, it's a good thing it was Free Food Sunday because that would have been a tough game to watch otherwise. How about that promotion? Free burgers, dogs, chicken, brats, popcorn, and ice cream? Well, we got to bring that here.
Yeah, I might make that pitch myself. We had that great food in the pregame show. Still worth coming out to the ballpark for the final 6 games of this homestand against the Missoula Paddleheads. You got to get your tickets at longbeachcoast.com. Nachos, we tried the nachos, the burgers. I don't think those are going to be free, but
they're good enough to pay for.
Definitely good enough to pay for.
And that does it for us on this week of baseball. We'll be back on Tuesday night. Gates at Blair Field open at 5:35. If you can't make it out, join us at 6:15 for the Beach Bowl pregame report before the 6:35 first pitch. Long Beach and Missoula taking each other on for the first time ever. We'll tell you more about what the Paddleheads have done when they wrap up their doubleheader today, but that is it for us right now. The Coast needing a rebound against the Mountain Region team after dropping this series to the Ballers 4-3, your finale today. With Joey Miller, I'm Jesse Cook, thanking you so much for joining us and signing off.